Dying Light 2 is officially dead, Danny. It's over. We're just joshing. Am I right, dog? As you can see from the title, the first DLC has been delayed, Sammy. And now players are stuck wondering, what does the future of Dying Light 2 look like? When is the DLC coming out? What's happening? I don't know. But don't worry, because when Techland went ahead and delayed this, they actually went and revealed a new roadmap that we can look forward to for post-launch support. There's actually a lot of stuff in here that goes all the way to November of 2022. So to go and get started, Dying Light posted right here. Dear Pilgrims, your feedback always has been the highest priority for us, and we want to be honest and transparent with you. We will still need a bit more time to develop the first story DLC. It is now planned to be released in September. However, in June, we will introduce the first game chapter entitled In the Footsteps of a Night Runner, filled with content and events, as well as the highly anticipated photo mode, so stay tuned for more action in the city. Apologize for the delay, and please take a look at the updated roadmap for Dying Light 2 Stay Human. I know, you want me to stop talking, you want to see that roadmap, so here it is. So like we said, it starts out from April, it shows us all between June to August, and then it also ends with September through November. So let's start out from the top. We recently just got New Game Plus, New Mutations, and the Booster event. So New Game Plus, it's overall been received very positively, I'd say. New Game Plus did introduce some bold changes like taking away your Night Runner tools and abilities. Along with it, a lot of bugs and glitches did come with it, and it is tainting the experience for some people, but a lot of that is getting ironed out as we speak. But what I really want to focus on is the photo mode and community events. Now, ever since release, photo mode has always been something that the community is desiring for. Now, when it comes to endgame content, there were 3 things that people wanted the most. We had New Game Plus, photo mode, and also crossplay / cross-gen. And as we can see so far, we're 2/3 of the way there. On this roadmap, there is no talk about crossplay or cross-gen just yet. The only information that we have regarding that is interviews that came before this game was released. Timon did say they're actively looking into it and seeing what can come from it. And then we also have community events, which I think is a really big one because the original Dying Light was heavily focused on a lot of these events. Community events in the original were essentially bounties that you can participate in with the community in a limited time frame. You start actively working towards the quest if you complete it alongside the community. You do get some rewards, maybe some rare items, or in the original, it was dockets. So it'll be interesting to see how Techland implements this. We do have the Techland GG website, which has a lot of rewards on there, so they might go through that for this. But then moving on right here for June, we have Chapter 1 In the Footsteps of a Night Runner. And that is about the extent of what we know about this quest. It seems like it's going to be released in multiple parts. This In the Footsteps of a Night Runner is something completely separate from the first story DLC. So maybe 1 month we get the first chapter, the month after we get the second chapter, and so on and so forth. I will say the execution of how this goes is very important. The last thing that we want is for Techland to come out and say, hey, we have this new Into the Footsteps of a Night Runner quest. Go out there and play it. You start up chapter 1, and chapter 1 is like 5 minutes long. That is not the way to do it. I'm just getting ahead of you, Techland, so if you're watching, make sure it's something of substance. If it's tacky or lackluster, it's going to reflect very poorly on you. But then also right here, we have agent and rank system, mission and bounties, rewards, and also new enemies. Now, the one I want to focus on is agent and rank system. Agent and rank system, I'm kind of leaning towards this maybe being legend levels. It's quite possible. In my recent interview with Timon Smectala, I did ask him about legend levels returning, and this is what he had to say.
So please stay tuned. Like, just maybe few more weeks, but all of this will be clear very soon. What we will be doing is we will be having some quite interesting and exciting news within the next few weeks. So I think everything will be clear when that happens. As
you can see, just from the way he's answering, he's like, please stay tuned. And we recorded this interview maybe a week before this post-launch roadmap did come out, so it seems like he may have been referring to the agent and rank system. We won't know until we get more information about it. But now moving on to the first story DLC. This shit has been delayed until September. And I do want to say, because of this delay, the expectations for how this DLC will be are very high now. This first DLC needs to really nail it and be something worthwhile. It needs to be a reason for you to go and reinstall the game. If this DLC is very poorly received, Techland is going to have a really hard time trying to get players to come back after this deal. We don't know much about it. We do know that we'll be going to a new location. We also know that the DLC can take place right after the prologue up until right before the epilogue. So you have basically the whole game to go and do this. You can do it sideways to the main story. And right below it, we have chapter 2 to the Into the Footsteps of a Night Runner. So like I said, that's probably going to be a quest that they release over time. Whether or not there's more chapters than just chapter 2 remains unseen for now. And then right below that, we also have the agent and rank system again, mission and bounties, and also new enemies. And if we go and look to the right, we see that the future content that they have planned is the second story DLC, weapons, enemies, stories, events, free and paid DLCs, and much, much more. So that is everything that is going on with Dying Light 2 Stay Human at the moment. Honestly, I'm not surprised that the DLC is getting delayed. Getting the first DLC 4 months after its release was a very optimistic view. We saw that there was a lot of problems with the game ongoing right now. I'd rather go Techland, fix that shit up, make the first DLC a lot better, make it story driven, make it engaging, and make it perfect. We're gonna have to wait and see. But friends, are you surprised? Are you happy? Are you disappointed? Let me know. I'd be happy to read it. And if you want to go ahead and see more videos from me, click on these right here. Do it. I'll see you there.